Hello my dear beautiful bastards and welcome to Dishonored 2. Bethesda had a very nice livestream recently where they showed gameplay for both Corvo and Emily on a brand new map called the Royal Conservatory. To check out the entire livestream, click on the link in the description. In this video I will be taking a look at everything that they've shown, as well as give you my opinion about it. Why would you care about my opinion? Well, I'm a big fan of Dishonored, the stealth genre, and I'm the glorious Lord of Petardia. You do not need more reasons. The first thing we saw from the stream was Corvo playing through the Royal Conservatory. Both the powers and the gameplay styles for Corvo have stayed largely the same. He still has Blink, Bent Time, and other powers featured in the first game. What is different is the fact that all powers are more in depth now. There are more options and more upgrades within each power, which gives you a lot of space when it comes to gameplay, but the overall style is still the same because the general purpose of the powers is still the same. Emily, on the other hand, is a completely new character with a different set of powers, most of which are new to the game. Far Reach is very similar to Blink, but it has this elegant and yet creepy curve. She has a doppelganger power which spawns her clone, who fights on your behalf. Thanks to the upgrade tree, you can spawn up to 3 clones at the same time. Shadow Walk is a very creepy crawly kinda power that lets you enter super stealth mode for a while, and I think it is very cool. The animations make it look great. Domino is another new power that she has. You gain the ability to link mines together, and once you murder one of the linked mines, everyone else drops dead. Keep in mind that you'll also need to upgrade this power in order to be able to link multiple mines at once. Mesmerize is another power that messes with the minds of your enemies. You spawn a large floating monument, which happens to be creepy as well, and up to 3 enemies will get mesmerized by it. It is possible to link Domino and Mesmerize together, so you can end up murdering a lot of people all at once if you manage to pull it off. The final power she has is Dark Vision, which is the only power exactly the same as Corvo's. What I noticed from the Emily gameplay is that she is very elegant and dark. Her powers have a very demonic feel to them, which makes sense considering her history. Both characters can be played however you want, but it seems to me like High Chaos would fit Emily just right. I should note that both characters are voiced this time, and they will change their dialogue based on your activities in the world. If you murder everyone, they will be mad, and their comments will be negative and dark. The comments can be triggered by interacting with objects in the world. Speaking of the world, the game is played in Karnaca for the most part, a place inspired by Victorian design from the Italian region. It is held in 1853 and the world is quite vertical and much nicer compared to Dunwall in the first game. There's much more contrast and vivid colors, but all of that can be nullified by bloodflies. Whenever you kill a person, bloodflies will infect their bodies and the infection will spread throughout the world. The more people you kill, the worse it is gonna get. It is similar to the rat plague from Dunwall. One big difference is that the plague here can create large hives of bloodflies within houses. If you don't kill anyone, people will likely be alive and well, but if you brutally murder someone in one mission, a house in the next mission could end up being a hive for the bloodsuckers with a bunch of dead people inside. Whale oil and electrified fences are still in the game, but in this period of time, the oil is a bit scarce, so windmills are used for power. These windmills can be disabled, destroyed, or rewired in order to pass through the gate. The gate itself functions exactly the same as before, at least from what I've noticed. The missions will now have black markets, which can be found by following this sign. The markets can be used to purchase stuff, or you can rob them. Some markets will be heavily defended, so robbing all of them is going to be a challenge in itself. But if you wanted a real challenge, you could play the No Powers mode. Yes, Dishonored 2 is going to have a No Powers mode, where you will simply refuse to talk to the outsider, and you will start playing the game with absolutely no supernatural assistance. You'll need to rely on your gun and crossbow to get through the missions. If this proves successful, and the missions are fun, both with and without supernatural powers, it is going to be very impressive. The difficulty has been raised significantly, which means that No Powers mode on very hard difficulty should be nearly impossible to complete. This attracts me greatly, and my body is ready to give it a go. I also mentioned animations a bit earlier. From the gameplay, it is clear that the animations have been improved, and that everything is more fluid now. The developers said that now you're also able to do many more combat actions during movement. Things like kicking in the middle of a blink, or sliding down a ramp and then immediately grabbing an enemy, or doing some crazy shit that stealth gamer is inevitably going to do. It seems like due to the variety of powers and ways to play the game, the developers put a lot of effort into making the core gameplay elements as best as they could, because it all starts from there. Another pretty decent addition to the game is a new feature for the heart. Back in Dishonored, the heart was used to locate bone charms, while in Dishonored 2 you'll be able to use it to hear the thoughts of the people in the world. This can give you yet another way of playing the game. You can simply walk around and search for assholes and just kill those based on their thoughts, or you can do the opposite thing and be the asshole yourself. Speaking of bone charms, they are craftable now. You can pick up whale bones throughout the world and they can be used to craft the charms. It is also possible to destroy charms in order to get the bones. When you're crafting a bone charm, you can add special attributes to it, up to 4 of them. The more attributes you add, the greater the chance of it becoming corrupted. If it is corrupted, it will have a negative attribute that might make the charm useless. Developers said that this crafting method was developed with Granny Rags in mind. She was known as a bone charm creator in Dishonored, so they worked around her lore in order to give some sense to the crafting system. You also have upgrades which will ensure that crafting corrupted charms becomes unlikely. It is difficult to share proper opinions before actually playing the game, but I believe that it is going to be like a super massive DLC to the first Dishonored. If you remember, the first game had Dodd as a playable DLC character. He had somewhat different powers compared to Corvo, and I can't help but see Emily as his replacement, but instead of Emily being in a DLC, she is a fully playable character throughout the entire game. I don't really see this as a bad thing, because Dishonored is one of my favorite games ever made, so I do expect this game to simply be an improved version of it. However, I do not recommend pre-ordering it or buying it before you see some reviews and opinions from people in the industry. Bethesda's new idiotic policy of giving review codes one day before release should be treated as a warning, so be careful and be patient. So far it looks great, but it can also all be a carefully crafted build of the game to showcase how awesome only that specific part is. Thanks for watching, and let me know, are you looking forward to Dishonored 2, and if you are, do you have any suggestions for future videos? I have been Petard, your glorious lord, and may the blessings of Petardia eternally touch your butt.